Well, here we go. Roger's top 5 wonkiest real estate myths of all time. I know what you're thinking. Wonkiest? Is that even a word, Roger? It is now. Watch. Okay, let's get started. Wonky real estate myth number 5 is this. Well, you gotta have 20% down to buy a house. No, not anymore, you don't. That had been true for a long time. There are a lot of different options. Get a good mortgage loan officer who can tell you what your options are. Conventional loan, VA loans, FHA, Kentucky Housing. There are a lot of ways you can buy a house with 5% down, 3% down. Sometimes you can buy a house with a no percent down. You can get down payment assistance. So find out what your options are. But the old myth of you had to have 20% down, that's long gone. Okay, so wonky real estate myth number 4 is, I think I'll just list my house real high, and then if somebody doesn't buy it, we'll just start bringing the price down, and then we'll sell it that way and get the most we can get for our house. Listen, you'd think that would work. You know, the reason it doesn't work is because you miss the window of opportunity of having a new listing at an appropriate price. And so a lot of people are going to see that listing, see your house is too high. They're going to know it's too high, and they are never going to look at your house again. So it's important to have an accurate valuation of your house and price it appropriately. But the high-low myth, not a good idea. Okay, so wonky real estate myth number 3, and that is this. We'll just make a low ball offer, and that way the seller will counter and we can get the house lower, get it cheaper than, way cheaper than the list price. Well, there again, you think that may work, but the problem is it turns out that sellers often are very attached, or very emotionally attached to their homes. And when you insult them with a really low offer, a lot of times they just don't want to talk to you anymore. They're done with you. It's over. And so, not a good idea. And you can make a little bit of a low offer. You can try that. But to make an insultingly low ball offer, not a good idea. All right, and wonky real estate myth number 2 is the Z myth. And that's the myth that says, you know, I know what my home is worth because I saw it on Zillow. Well, Zillow has their Zestimate. It's data driven, which means they're going to compare how many bedrooms you've got, how many bathrooms, whether it has a garage, with the square footage, and they're going to try to get an idea of what other houses like yours have sold for in your neighborhood. The problem is, it is only data driven. In other words, they can't take in consideration that maybe your house is very pretty or very ugly. They don't know that you've remodeled the kitchen. There are a lot of factors that they are unable to bring into the equation. So it's very rare that the Zestimate is actually accurate. You need a real estate professional who can give you a really good idea of what your house is worth, give it an accurate valuation before you list it. That will help a lot when it comes to selling your house. And that brings us to wonky real estate myth number 1. And that is what we call the FSBO savings myth. Now, the FSBO savings myth says this: I can save the commission if I'll just sell my house on my own. Now, here's the thing. If it's a red hot market and you understand real estate transactions and real estate marketing, you may actually be able to pull that off. But if you don't understand transactions, number 1, you're going to get run over by the agent that brings the buyer to you. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay an agent a commission to bring a buyer to you. He's a real estate professional. If you're not, he will run over you. He will use the appraisal, the inspection, the timeline. There's different ways they can get the best of you, and they're obligated to do the best for their client. I mean, I do it. I represent my client. I'm going to get the best deal for them I can. Also, if you don't know how to market a house, you know, there's a lot more to it than just putting it on Zillow and sticking a sign in the yard. Now, sometimes you can get a buyer that way, but rarely ever will you cast a broad enough net to get the buyer that will pay the most for your house. So you can sell it sometimes that way, but oftentimes you don't sell it for as much as it could actually bring. And the other thing is that you're vulnerable to future litigation down the road if you don't understand how to do the disclosure. If somebody buys your house and a few months or a year down the road, they realize there's something wrong with the house and you knew it was wrong, they might come after you. And a realtor can protect you from that. So there's a lot of problems with trying to sell your house on your own unless you understand real estate transactions, know how to market your home, and know how to protect yourself from future litigation. So there you have it. Roger's top 5 wonkiest real estate myths of all time.